put an end to the block in Washington on that $2,000 stimulus check. The additional $1,400 was bipartisan. Should it go to anybody making over X number of dollars? I'm open to negotiate those things.
The Democrats are now tightening the requirements around who will receive a stimulus check in the new COVID relief package. This was really a response to moderate Democrats who were concerned that the checks were not very well targeted. And I am told that President Biden has signed off on this change.
Senator Joe Manchin is one who has been pushing to further target the stimulus checks.
This is both bad policy and bad politics, and I don't know whether the Democratic Party is too stuck in their bubble to see why, or if they're just too weak to do anything about it. My name's Alyssa Bernardino, and today's topic is poor positioning.
The eligibility requirements to receive the full $1,400 will remain the same at $75,000 for individuals, $150,000 for couples, but those checks will now phase out faster.
Eligibility for the stimulus check is based off of 2019 income. I know that for a lot of us right now, our sense of time is a little bit warped to say the least, so I'll help you out. That was before the pandemic, that weird time when everyone lost their jobs for some reason. So if you made $75,000 or less in 2019 as an individual, congratulations. You are poor enough to deserve help, and you'll get the full $1,400. If you made just $1 over $80,000, however, well, you're one of the elites the Joes despise. You don't need help, so no check for you. There is one group of people that America will never turn their backs on without fail, however. After all, they are the most vulnerable group in society, and like the Joes mentioned, we have got to target our efforts towards those most in need.
That's it.
$7.25 an hour is $15,000 a year. That's poverty level.
Florida voted for Donald Trump and yet passed with a 2/3 majority a minimum wage hike to $15. So across the country, this is the policy that independents, Republicans, and Democrats are calling for.
Raising the minimum wage from $7.25 to $15 an hour, it was one of President Biden's key campaign promises, but he's not going to be able to deliver on that promise quite yet. And it comes after a Senate official ruled that raising the minimum wage can't be part of this massive COVID relief package.
If we are going to say that Democrats can make a difference when we have the House, the Senate, and the White House, then we are going to have to deliver. It is not going to be sufficient for us to just say, well, we tried, sorry. We've got to go to the mat with every tool in the toolbox.
Vice presidents in the past have disregarded the parliamentarian. We should do that in this case.
The Biden White House says no, and supporters of raising the minimum wage are right to feel betrayed and infuriated. Hello, everybody. I'm David Schuster, and thanks for joining us. The federal minimum wage in the United States has been stuck at $7.25 an hour for 12 years. According to the Congressional Budget Office, lifting it to $15 an hour would boost the wages of 17 million workers and lift 1.5 million Americans out of poverty. Republicans like to say, oh, but it's going to cost jobs. But according to most of the research, when you implement a raising the federal minimum wage gradually, as this would do, it doesn't cost any net jobs. Given the action of the Senate parliamentarian, there are two different ways that Senate Democrats could now move on this. First, they could separate the minimum wage as its own standalone legislation and change the filibuster to require 51 votes to pass this legislation instead of 60. However, Democratic Senators Sinema from Arizona and Manchin from West Virginia have said they are flat out opposed to any changes in the filibuster legislation. So the other option for the Democrats is to leave the raising in the minimum wage attached to the $2 trillion COVID-19 relief bill as it passed the House, essentially bypassing the Senate parliamentarian. Now, Vice President Harris, in her role as president of the U.S. Senate, has the authority to do that. And according to Senate rules, overruling the vice president would require 60 U.S. senators. Republicans, even with Manchin and Sinema, would fall short at 52. The Biden White House points out that in order to pass the overall COVID relief package, you still need 50 Democratic senators, with Harris breaking the tie. And without Manchin and Sinema, the Democrats would fall short on that key legislation with 48.